What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel, and today I just want to go over how to use your blink really, and in specific I want to talk about how to move with it, the timings of when to use your blink to do specific things, such as going as far as you can, going as far up as you can, how to control it with your movement as best as you can, your hitbox and how it interacts with your blink, getting through small areas, and just general tips like that. Grappling while coming out of your blink is something you need to worry about as well. So I want to talk about all of that and just get you all informed in as little time as possible. So we're going to jump right into that right now. So I just have us in this fail here. I think that's a pretty good map to test things out. And first of all, I just kind of want to start with the normal blinks you're going to be using. Now I have videos on this describing the different blink techniques and whatnot, but they're a little old, and if you just want to see something new and on Blink Hunter specifically, then we'll show that off for you guys. So a lot of times you're going to want to go pretty far. Now you can see right now I actually have my lightweight frame shotgun out. That's something I use a lot, and I recommend for your mobility on blink be anywhere from 50 to 80. Now that's a good range for your mobility to be. When you have a lightweight frame weapon out, it actually bumps that mobility up by 20, so you go up 2 tiers mobility. So right now I'm at 90 when I have my lightweight frame shotgun out, but I'm at 60 when I just have my hand cannon out. Now on Hunter, that's really going to be a different story. On Hunter, of course, our mobility is directly tied to our class ability and when it can come back up, the cooldown on that. So that's up to you if you want to have more of that cooldown, but there's a reason why we want our mobility to be in the range of 50 to 80, and I'll show that to you right now. So basically, if you want to blink forward, you're going to jump, and then right there, right when you start descending, basically right before you start descending, that's when you want to blink to get the most horizontal distance you can. So we run, we jump, and we blink. And that's going to let us go as far forward as we can. If we blink any more before that, then you see how much extra vertical height we get? And we don't want that vertical height if we're just trying to rotate, especially if there's a sniper lane in front of us or whatnot, just like this. If you want to get across the sniper lane, you're going to want to jump and blink right across that. And we went across that entire sniper lane without ever showing our hitbox. Now, if you have a higher tier of mobility on, like I do with this shotgun, it's going to take you longer to get to the apex of your jump. The apex is the top of your jump, so if we have less mobility, it'll take a less amount of time to get to the apex of that jump. Therefore, it'll take a less amount of time before we can actually get as far of a horizontal blink started as possible. So that's the reason why I recommend going for a range stat on your mobility of anywhere from 50 to 80. I have an entire video breaking down what I just explained to you, but even more in depth if you'd like to see that, and it explains all about mobility and how it interacts with your blink. So I'd recommend going and watching that after this if you want to really learn even more in depth than that explanation. But that is why I have my mobility where it is, and why I would recommend to you to keep it around somewhere in that range, especially if you're on Warlock. But if you are on Hunter and you want to keep it at 100, I totally understand that. Just be aware that it will take you longer to get those horizontal blinks off. Now, that being said, a horizontal blink is our main blink we're going to be using to rotate around maps. It's going to let us get around very fast. As you can see, we just, in a few seconds, went all the way from that side to this side. And that's pretty crazy. Not many other movement abilities in the game are going to let you do that. Even with something like a Warlock or a Titan Skate, they're not as fast as our blink is. And if you watch any kind of videos I have in Trials on Endless Veil, you can see I can go from spawn very fast. And what my strategy on Endless Veil Trials is to go from spawn, come right here and throw my nade out and immediately start taking shots, because by the time you get here with blink, it's going to take at least 1 to 2 seconds before the enemies can actually even get to mid, and you're going to get there before them with that much extra time. That gives you so much extra time to set up on your enemies. Now there are different blinks, of course. Sometimes you do want to go straight up, and that is just going to be blinking as quick as you can. So if you want to go straight up, you just blink as quick as you can. So you tap jump and then you tap blink. Now when you don't have on Astrocyte Verse, you're going to have a measured blink cooldown, and there's ways to know when your blinks are back up. Now they just added this to the game, and I'll show you what that is. So you're going to have 2 blinks. We're going to blink once and we're going to blink twice. Now watch the screen, and right there it does a little screen wipe on you, and it does a little sound effect. When that happens, it's the same thing as like Icarus Dash. That's when you know your blinks are back up. So we're waiting for the screen wipe, and right there we know our blinks are back up. Now there are some things to be aware of. Use your blinks sparingly. Use your blinks when you need to. Don't just go wasting all your blinks, because that's not the point of them. You need to use them just like you would any other movement ability, but probably even more sparingly, because these actually have a cooldown unlike any other movement ability, right? You can hit the ground and start floating again. You can hit the ground and start jumping again on a hunter, but you can't just hit the ground and automatically reset your blink. You need to wait for the cooldown. I want to note something, and that is if you use all 3 of your blinks, then you're not going to be able to slide. So let's blink once. Let's blink twice. Wait a second for our 3rd blink. And we'll use that. And then if we try to slide, you can see I'm just crouching, and now our blink is back up so we can slide again. So keep that in mind. If you use 3 blinks in a row, you're not going to be able to slide. It's a bug in the game. Bungie, I don't know if they weren't aware of it, but they didn't fix it coming into this season, which is a bit of a letdown. But now that they actually acknowledge that blink exists, hey, maybe we'll actually see that bug fix. So there's different times when you want to use different blinks. Like I was saying before, we have our horizontal blink. That's mostly going to be used for rotating around the map and covering lanes, just like this sniper lane in mid here, just like I was showing you earlier. If you want to get across the sniper lane, you're going to want to go as far as you can. So we're going to jump and blink across that lane, and we never show our hitbox for a single second. Now you want to make sure you're not jumping out in a lane and then blinking. You need to make sure you give yourself enough time and space to jump and then blink before you get your hitbox in front of the lane. Because you need to understand something about your blink hitbox, and that is your blink hitbox does not disappear. Your hitbox never goes anywhere while you are blinking. The best way and the simplest way that I can explain it to you is your hitbox stays wherever you started your blink until your blink is completely finished casting. So I'm going to blink here, and until right there, when I come out of my blink, my hitbox was still back there. So if somebody keeps shooting or throwing nades or something's taking damage on you where you started your blink, you will die or at least take a lot of damage from that thing. We need to be aware of that, and we need to make sure we're keeping our hitbox in a safe place when we go through our blink. When it comes to escaping and whatnot, that's why blink is a good escape and why it's not at the same time. You need to make sure if you're trying to escape with your blink that you're using it precautionarily. Okay, so someone's coming at you, you see that they're coming up here, you know, they're going to come at you, you're already low health because you were taking a gunfight with them. We're going to blink this way, all the way across this lane and confuse them. They think you're still over there, and you get to keep running down toiletable and you can just run away, but we never showed our hitbox to them for a second. And that way we can actually get out, because if we wait until they come all the way around the corner and they can see us because they're standing right here and we try to blink, they're just going to keep shooting where we were just standing. And even though we think, whoa, well, I got away, I blinked over them. No, your hitbox hasn't left that position yet, so they will most likely still kill you. Since we're on the topic of hitboxes already, we should talk about certain places in the maps that you're going to want to get through, but it's a little bit easier to get through by changing your hitbox. Now, what I mean when I say change your hitbox, I mean pulling your head down for the most part. Think about it. When you're sliding across a sniper lane because you don't want to get shot, what do? You pull your head down. That's going to change your hitbox. You pull your head down because you want that sniper to whiz over your head. It's the same thing when you're blinking through a small, narrow area. This right here is a big example of that. Now, you can just regularly blink through it, right? But you might hit your head up top there. And it's a pretty narrow crack right there. There are even more narrow areas in the game, but that's one you need to be aware of. So, a lot of times when I blink over this, what I do is I pull my hitbox down just to make sure I don't clunk my head on the roof or anything. There's several places like that in the map, and if you notice an area you're about to blink through is very narrow, just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to pull my hitbox down, and just for one little second, pull your hitbox down, and right when you get through, you pull it back up. Now, we can do even better than that. Once we come out of our blink, we want to keep schmoovin', right? Hey, we're using blink because we like schmoovement. So, if you want to keep schmoovin', we blink through, we pull our hitbox down, and right as we land, we slide around, we keep sprinting, and then we can blink a second time, slide in again, and hey, look at that, we're already aiming onto the enemy's spawn in just a few seconds. And that's what's so amazing about blink. That's the rotation speed, but you just need to keep in mind how to use your blinks super effectively and how to get through little areas, anything like that. Now, another thing I was saying I want to talk about is the grappling. Now, Bungie did say that they made grappling better when exiting a blink, and that is something I was very excited to see, because a lot of times grappling when you come out of a blink can be a bit of a pain in the butt, because sometimes you hit something and you know you're at an angle where your character should grapple it, but they just kind of say, I'm a little lazy today, I'm just not going to put my hands on there, and you just fall down, splat your face into the wall like somebody just Nickelodeon slimed you, and you just kind of slide down there into your death. So let's use this block as an example. We can blink forward onto this, and if we keep our aim too high, we might slide down it. But if we can blink onto this and put our aim a little lower, then we can make sure that we land on it with our feet, and then usually the lower you're looking, the more of a chance it is that it'll grapple. If I look up right here, I can grapple onto that. But if I look straight at it, then that makes sure that my guy grabs it with his hands. And that's kind of what we're looking to do, is make sure that they hand grapple it, because I find that's the most effective way to actually get onto things. So again, we're just trying to blink onto that, and keep our sight kind of on the side of it and make sure that we grapple onto it, whether it's a hand grapple or your foot just kind of catches it. Just make sure you're kind of looking at it and you're not looking too far up. You want to keep your eyes in the right place when you're doing your blinks. If you're trying to do a horizontal blink, you don't want to be looking up here, you want to be looking straight ahead. You want to be looking to where you want to blink. Now, there's different times when you can use your blinks in combat and whatnot. I can show you those a lot better. If you do something like watch my video from earlier today, I would highly recommend if you want to see how to use your combat blinks, because using your blink in combat is a very complicated thing, and it's best shown by just watching gameplay and having me do my live commentary over that. So if you want to see that very much in depth, go watch today's earlier video. I would highly recommend that. I explain everything very, very in depth in that video, and that'll help you learn a lot. A few little things I can touch on, such as pulling back on your movement key, whether that be a joystick or your S key on keyboard. When you're coming out of a blink, if you kind of want to stop your momentum. Sometimes you are going towards something and you're like, uh-oh, Billy Joe is sitting here with a sniper, he's kind of aiming at me. I want to see if I can stop myself. Or someone's sitting there, you see they're going to shotgun rush you, but you didn't notice they were going to shotgun rush you until you came out of your blink. You can go in and hold back on your movement key, and that's going to stop you from moving too far forward in the air. So let me show you right now. I'm going to blink forward, I'm going to hold W the entire time. We're going to keep going, obviously. But if we come at that and we hold our movement key backwards as we come out of that blink, holding backwards, that's going to kind of stop us and not let us keep going, and that'll just kind of slow you down. That also gives you the benefit of right when you land, you don't have any outside movement exerted onto you, so then you can immediately choose, okay, I just held back my movement key, right? I blink, I come out, and I have no movement. Now I can immediately choose to turn to my left. Whereas if I was doing that before, I would have been a little too far forward, and then I would have probably got smacked by Billy Joe and his shotgun rolling at us. You got to keep those things in mind, and really controlling your blink is the best tip I can give you, is that it's going to come from time. It's going to come from muscle memory. Because I can tell you all day how to perfectly use your blink, how to fly through every little crack in the map, and how to absolutely smack people with your blink, but just be aware that actually putting the time and the work in is really going to be the golden way that you will learn how to use your blink effectively. I guess since we're on in this veil, I can show you a few things. One thing I want to mention really quick is something called blank blinks. Now, a blank blink is something that's quite common in this game. You see, there's a problem when it comes to blink, and that's the fact that it's only been on Warlocks up to this point, and Bungie doesn't really care for Warlocks much, so if you notice, blink hasn't even been acknowledged much in the past, 4 years or whatever. The last time I actually saw them acknowledge anything close to blink is when they did airborne effectiveness changes and they gave us plus 30 to Astrocyte Burst. Now that hunters have blink, they've actually started giving us blink buffs. I'm sorry if I sound a little salty, but that's because I am. But either way, we have those buffs now, but there are still some problems. For example, a blink. If I blink right here, you're going to notice something. And that's the fact that I didn't really go much of anywhere. You can do it again just to show you I'm not going anywhere. There's kind of invisible roofs placed on some places in maps, and they just don't let you go up. If you jump, you're fine. If you blink, you're not going anywhere, buckaroo. So keep that in mind. There are some various points, and a heck ton of them on in this veil, so you need to keep those in mind. You will hit them sometimes. You're going to go, hey, why didn't my blink go anywhere? It's going to be a blank blink. They are around the map, and hopefully Bungie fixes some of these bugs that I've showed you here today, but, they run rampant in the game sometimes. But I have a lot of other blink techniques if you want to see them, such as a blink pop-up float or a blink pop-up slam is a very fun technique. But if you want to learn stuff like that, this video might be already a little too long because I want to keep it simple and short and sweet. So I have videos explaining that. I'll leave those in the top right or on the end screen, and you can go check out my full Blink Journey playlist if you really want to start getting a finer taste for Blink. In that playlist, I have everything from my Blink Shotgun Masterclass to my mobility video that I was talking about earlier on what mobility to run with your blink. I have a bunch of blink map guides that you can check out if you want to learn how to use your blink on specific maps in the best places. I have videos explaining sneaky blink spots that you can use to get the drop on your enemy, such as if there's enemies over here, you can blink right through these tree branches, and hey, you just landed on their little noggin and you probably put a few shotgun pellets into it. And there's a lot more than that in the game, and I have a ton of videos just explaining anything from tips and guides, how to use your blink in all kinds of different scenarios, and every day I come out with another video teaching you how to be a blink master. So if you want to go check that out, I would highly recommend watching anything in that playlist because that would very much help you go on your way. And before we wrap it up here, I just want to say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them to me either in the comments, or if you want to join the Blinkville Discord server, I'm going to have that linked in the description and the top right of this video. It is a place where I have me and over 200 other well, what used to be Blink Warlocks, but Blink Hunters now too, and we always talk about Blink. We love talking about everything Blink related, so if you need any help, you can always ask me or anybody else in that server, because they are also very competent players and can help you out with anything you would like to know. But that is my simple guide on how to use your Blink, and really just some simple things with how to move with it and your hitbox, and just to get you started. This is a great place to start with. If you need anywhere to jump off from with your Blink, you came to the right place. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving me a like. I would greatly appreciate it, and it helps out more than you can know. And if you really want to help, then you can subscribe, and I will put out daily videos to help you on your way to becoming a Blink Master. But that is all I have for today. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, Guardians.